Okay, so episode 100 and our anniversary episode, because we actually had our 1-year anniversary in June, but we never did an episode on that
Oopsie.
because we kind of forgot. It was on a weekend. I think it was like a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, let's just combine it because the 100th episode is coming up anyway. So we decided to just combine it. Yeah.
Yeah, we did one of these for our anniversary last year.
Yeah.
And we had like some kind of like retrospective and like future outlooks, if I remember correctly. That was kind of the structure of the episode.
Yeah.
Should we do something like that
Sure.
this time as well? Okay. Yeah. So this is really difficult. Okay, so I don't know. Would you like to start with
Oh my
the
God.
retrospective?
Why do I have to lead it?
I don't know.
What is a retrospective?
Kind of like looking back onto things
Oh,
and
okay.
then having like your feelings about it, and I don't know, just like a inner feedback loop, I guess.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think it's a pretty big achievement to make it to 100 episodes. I feel like that's something to feel positive about. I think there have been times where I'm like, "Ugh, we have to record a podcast." But mostly, like, all in all, I've felt still motivated to do it after so long. It's been 2 years now.
Crazy. Yeah.
And is it 2?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, it's 2 because we started 2023. So 2 years and 100 episodes later, still feeling enjoyment from it, I guess. Especially now that we have had guests come on. It's been a different experience to just us 2 talking. And we've said this before, in other kind of recap episodes about having guests on and how that makes us feel really, like, motivated to do things afterwards. It's fun to talk to other creatives about being self-employed, about the business things. Yeah.
Okay.
You're really not in a yapping mood today.
I was before. I don't know what happened. Maybe
I was
maybe I
like
overreact.
I was talking and talking, I'm like, at some point she's gonna have something to say, and now you haven't said anything, and then I finished talking, and
No,
I'm
I
like,
was waiting for you to finish.
"Okay,
But
well, I'm
I feel like
done."
you finished. Okay. Oh, it's gonna be a chaotic one. No, I also feel proud. 100 episodes is a huge achievement, especially because also staying consistent with a thing for 100 episodes is crazy, and also still having enjoyment from it.
Yeah.
Also, when we're just like with guests, of course, it added a new component to it, which made it, I don't know, feeling fresh again, or like not as, how do you say? Boring is a wrong word. I mean, like,
Wow, you're
not
bored
boring.
talking to me?
No, what is
Oh.
it? Like when you're like drift into ever the same.
Yeah, it's very it becomes like a kind of, alltäglich is what
Yeah,
you
it's
say in
yeah,
German.
exactly. It's kind of like the same thing over and over again. I'm
Yeah.
missing the word for it, but yeah, I think you can like you guys understand what I mean. And also, I kind of lost my train of thought here.
Having
Overall,
the guests on definitely did bring a fresh new
exactly.
perspective.
But I think maybe sometimes I'm like similar what you were saying, like, "Oh, okay, now we have to record," or like making time for it even though maybe we have to do something else.
Yeah.
But overall, whenever we then hit record and we start talking, I actually really enjoy it.
Yeah, me too.
So that's on that. Also, um, I think that I I don't know, I got better with being perceived. I still have difficulties with that, but that one got better now since we're talking about looking back on things, especially from in the beginning. I'm still not the best at listening to myself because I still just like really can't, but that's a me issue.
I don't think you ever listen to the episodes, do you?
No, I sometimes listen to like the things when you upload it on YouTube because I
Okay, yeah.
click on them and then I hear what you're saying. But I don't know, I just this just this inner feeling in me. Yes, I'm in therapy. Yes, I'm trying to overcome this Because I do think it's important because we really talk about important things and it's nothing to like, I don't know, feel quotation marks bad about.
Yeah,
Like hearing back and listening back to it. Um, Other than that, I really enjoy the aspect of hearing people saying, "Hey, they heard us, like they mentioned the
yeah,
podcast and it really helped them," and that really gives me such a great feeling. And it just really shows that what we're doing here is important. And I enjoy that a lot, especially also with guests that I feel like with those episodes, it just puts it into perspective, like what we are saying, and you just keep hearing it over and over again by other people.
mhm,
And it's also great to bring some fresh perspectives in because I
yeah.
can imagine that it's, I don't know, after some time, of course, you're over exhausting the topics because there's only so much you can talk about. I don't think it's a bad thing to come back to topics or to rethink certain point of views that we might have had in the past. I think that's super nice and part of the process to show. Um,
It's also
no,
important to keep repeating the same message because you never know. Like, of course, there are people who watch every episode or listen to every episode, but then there are people that discover the podcast through one of the newer episodes, and not all of them are gonna go back and listen to every single one. I don't think many people do that. So it's good to keep repeating the same messages for people who kind of discover the podcast now.
no, I agree. Yeah,
So I don't think it's a bad thing to keep talking about the same things. But yeah, it's nice to get other people's perspectives. And I think a lot of the people we've talked to have had really good things, like really helpful things to say about being self employed, running a business, being a creative.
it was always super inspirational.
Yeah, I felt inspired by it, even though we're already at a position where we have success and we've achieved a lot of things. It still inspires me to keep going, to like try new areas. And I don't know, I guess but it's at the same time inspiring, I think, to people starting out, which is kind of what we wanted.
Yeah, for sure. I really enjoy like also on other podcasts whenever it's an interview and they ask interesting questions or like there's like a interesting conversation happening, especially about topics that I care about, like business, creative business topics. And I really hope that you can find just as much joy and inspiration and motivation from it as we do. I think it would be also cool. I'm just thinking about this on the spot to have some maybe guest questions like from the community. I don't know, to integrate community more into the podcasts, finding a way think would be fun as well. And yeah, I think that it's nice that we keep reinventing it a little bit.
Yeah. One other thing that I've noticed since starting the podcast is that I've gotten a lot better at editing it or like doing it in a really fast and efficient way. Because I think the beginning it took me hours to like edit one episode, and it also had to do with us just not being good at talking, and I had to edit out a lot of it. So it was like sometimes had to edit out like I don't know, stuff where I just felt like this is just fluff and it's not interesting. It wasn't as concise as I feel like the episodes now are. I think just because 'cause we've gotten better at speaking, and then also now it's also become easier with AI. I really have to say, like, the AI tools are getting better and better, and I think they're really perfect for this kind of work. I know that a lot of creative people don't like the fact that AI is taking over their jobs. But the reality is that things like editing a podcast, which is not like a movie production trailer where a creative person needs to sit there and do it, it's really a lot of like editing out some kind of sounds you don't want, or enhancing speech, or cutting out words like cutting out pauses. And if you have a person sitting there doing that work, it's so much effort for very little I don't essence, I'd say, in the thing that you're doing because just cutting out pauses is just such a silly task. You don't need someone who's super creative to do that. So it's really good that there's AI that can do that for you now.
I mean, also you have to put it into perspective. This is a self-produced podcast. There's no production team behind it. This is done in the free time that we have, or like during the hours that we would be where we are supposed to work on other things actually. So I don't know. It's really great to have little tasks taken off of
Yeah, and it's really made
shoulders.
it go a lot faster, the editing process, because I and now we're trying today for the first time we've used Riverside for, the guest episodes because it's perfect for when you invite someone who's remote and you're not all in the same room. That's like the USP of Riverside. But we're trying it today as like recording the solo episode, so we'll see how that goes. The reason why I wanted to try that today is because the editing process on Riverside is so easy and it's so quick. And what Riverside also has now, if you pay for it, which we do, is that it, creates shorts for you, so, like, short clips, and then you can add captions, and it's all so fast, and the captions are so good because I've used other programs, like, people who do podcasts or, like, videos maybe know, like, Opus Clip, that's another one that's, like, very popular in the video editing scene, but the captions on there, I always have to kind of go in and fix some of them. On Riverside, I didn't have to fix any of them.
Yeah, that's really great.
Yeah, so it just, like, takes off another layer of the work, which is, like, um, the editing the AI work, because of course, AI isn't perfect, so you do still need to have someone there to go over all of it and make sure it's correct, and so far, I haven't had to do that with the Riverside AI, which is really great, and the other thing it does is it also gives you names for the podcast, it gives you a description for the podcast, and some of those like, the descriptions I have had to edit a little bit just because I feel like it doesn't match, like, our communication style, but the content, like, the essence of it is there already, and then I just have to kind of rewrite write it, which is so much easier than me just thinking, "Okay, what could the description be?" And then sitting there for half an hour, like, writing a description.
It's kind of what we do when I pre-write something and you go in it and have to rewrite it.
Yeah.
I'm the AI.
You are the AI, and I'm the director of the AI. No, but I think it's a reality, and I think that a lot of people need to realize that these kinds of jobs are going to be replaced, and I think it's not, like, ethics aside, it's just it's going to happen. And if you're somebody I know there are agencies out there that do podcast editing for people, um, they will probably start using this AI, and it's a benefit to them because you can still sell your services because people don't wanna bother with editing, that's why they come to you, and you have a lot less actual work because 'cause you're having the AI do it, you're just going over it, and you're selling it maybe potentially at the same price. So, it's actually a positive thing because you have less work to do.
Yeah, and I mean, for us, it enables us to do it
And
in a more efficient
for
way.
people that can do editing and can handle it, it's also
Yeah,
amazing.
exactly. It's a good thing right now for us.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm also have issues with AI and other aspects of, like, creativity, but these kinds of tedious tasks, it's really amazing.
Yeah, especially since, I don't know, we're wearing a lot of hats. It's nice that some work is getting, I don't know, easier.
Yeah.
Just requires less effort and time.
Yeah, so I can highly recommend it to anybody who is thinking of doing podcast editing but feels like or a podcast and then they feel like the editing would be too much. I have to say that nowadays with all of these tools, it's really not that much work. But you do have to set aside, I'd say, like, for 1 episode a week, probably, like, with editing shorts, also putting that online and scheduling everything, at least, like, 3 hours.
Mhm.
And then for the actual recording, that's another hour to
Yeah.
an hour and a half, depending on how long the episodes are.
Yeah, it's a commitment.
Yeah, so it's definitely, like, half a day to a full day of work of just, like, podcast stuff. Because it also, like, you have to think about planning. If you're having guests, you have to invite them.
Yeah.
So, I'd say definitely 1 day of the week is gonna like, if you put all the hours together, is gonna be for your podcast.
Yeah, I mean, we also handed off the outreach part of our podcast.
Yeah, we have
But
someone else doing that because we just couldn't keep up with it anymore.
no, it's just too much work.
The only reason I haven't handed off the podcast editing is because I feel like I can still handle it for my workload, and because these tools have gotten so good, it's not so bad.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm happy we can share these things with the community and to the listeners with
Yeah.
the listeners, because I think that there's not much content out there still. Like, since 2 years, I don't think that there is enough, like, creative business content out there to really, like, leverage from. I mean, there are some, of course, but I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I haven't seen a lot more popping out ever
No, there
since.
isn't that much content online about creative businesses. I even notice it when I do the shorts for YouTube. I always think I've never seen this kind of content before on YouTube, apart from, like, Chris Do's
Yeah.
podcast. I don't really see a lot of this content on YouTube. You know, like, when I do, like, TikToks for my gaming stuff, and I always go, like, and I kind of look at what are other people doing right now? What are kind of the trends going on, like, for this game, and what would my followers wanna see? But it's hard with the creative business stuff 'cause I can't find a lot on YouTube and then see, like, "Oh, what is the creative industry talking about right now?" And, like, what would people find interesting? Like, what would people see, like, in a short, listen to for a full minute, and then also click on and wanna see the full episode?
Mm.
It's hard because it's just not something that's, like, super trendy or where a lot of people are doing a lot of stuff where you could pull from.
I think that that probably stems from the creative industry not really being business people, they're creative people,
Yeah.
and I don't think that a lot of them care about business really. They wanna get by, or I don't know, I don't wanna, like, comb everyone into one bucket. But I think that those 2, like business and creativity, don't go together for a lot of people, and I think that there's a lot of education that needs to happen, and some people are already, like, I don't know, at a state where they are, like, super open to that because they realize they might need to have some business skills to run a creative business. And I mean, this is basically for them, so this is like a niche.
Yeah.
And yeah, I really hope that there's more awareness for, like, business topics, for the creative industry. Um, I do think that maybe they have gotten more aware, or maybe I'm just biased because we're talking, like, our guests, of course, are successful business people. So it makes sense that they are aware of, I don't know, of business. I don't know how to explain it better. But yeah, I think that for everyone else, it's a bit of a difficult topic. I think a lot of people struggle with making money, and a lot of people struggle with making money in the creative industry, especially.
Yeah, 'cause any other podcast, like, if you look for podcast content on finance,
Mm,
there's so much out there. Or something like, um,
investing,
marketing. Yeah, investing, but even marketing, like, there's a lot of stuff out there, like lead
design.
gen stuff
Yeah, but also I feel like
and other, like, things unrelated to like, career, like, relationship stuff, you know, specific hobbies, sports. There's so many podcasts in every single field, but I feel like creative business industry or,
yeah,
like, field, I don't know, topic is just not that common,
that's true. But
which is weird because the creative industry is a huge industry.
I know.
Like the market, we looked at the market of it. There are a lot of graphic designers out there and a lot of, freelancers out there, like creative freelancers. It's like, where are they when we're talking about business?
I don't know. I think that also there are a lot of creatives creating content. It's just about mostly about creativity and about, I don't know, some design aspects or tools and stuff like that, but less about business. And I can kind of understand. I don't think a lot of people find, I don't know, passion in business or find like a huge interest in business. I think it's more like a byproduct that they have to like do. and
Yeah.
not like something they actually want to like they're super interested in and want to like, I don't know. I do think they wanna learn more about it. I don't think that they don't. I just don't think that they seek out that content specifically. It's more like, "Okay, I'm stuck here. I'm gonna ChatGPT or Google whatever my issue is," or I don't know. It's also so difficult to pinpoint issues if you have no idea about business. I
So do
don't
you
know.
think there's not a audience for our content?
I do believe there's an audience for our content, don't get me wrong. I was more speaking about the majority,
Yeah.
and yeah, we are a niche, but that's fine. I like niches, and I think that niches are good, and it's good
Yeah.
to be in a niche, and I do believe that there are a lot of listeners interested in creativity and business. I just don't think it's the majority. That's what
Yeah,
I'm
I
trying
also
to say.
yeah, I think it's also just not a lot of people maybe feel the need to talk about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, we talk about business a lot, but I think a lot of people don't feel the need to talk about it, like, they do it as, like, their bookkeeping or whatever, it's just part of the job.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
They don't have the passion for it, but I
yeah,
do believe that there is enough interested listeners because there is this huge podcast from, for example, Christo, The Future.
yeah,
And they also have like, I don't know, tons of listeners, tons of people in the community. So if there was really no market for it, then I don't know, there wouldn't be a market for them either. I do believe that there is a market. I just think that it's a niche topic and yeah, it makes sense that not the majority of people is interested in it.
yeah, and it also makes sense that you don't find a lot of content on it, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I know one more podcast about running an agency. It's a super short one. I think it's one person who does it, and it's like 5-minute episodes though. So they just always focus on one topic, like for example, lead generation. And then I don't know, give you like a quick overview basically, and
Yeah,
then that's it. And then you can like investigate more. That's also a nice format, like bite-sized format, but like really yapping, just like really sitting there and talking about it. Not many know. The future is also more like an interview format and less like talking to each other format. However, I noticed that some episodes now are about like talking about current topics, but they've also been around for I don't know how many years now,
yeah,
probably 200 episodes plus, I
yeah,
think
they
at this
have definitely
point.
a few hundred episodes.
Exactly. And yeah, that's also cool to see. So yeah, I do believe there's a market. To sum up my very long speech here,
You're rambling.
rambling. Yeah.
I think one thing I would want to explore I guess we're done with, like, the retrospective.
Yeah, let's go to the future.
Let's go to the future before we talk for an hour. Um, I think one thing I would want to explore is how to do 'cause I feel like a lot of the guests we've had on like, on the podcast, it's, like, a lot of, it getting to know them and then how they started out and all that stuff, which is also interesting, and I still find that interesting. I think one thing I would want to explore is having people on to talk about maybe one specific thing.
Oh my god, I was thinking the same though.
Really?
Yeah, I was because in the last it's already out anyways. In the last episode that we had with
Yeah.
Sandra Reichel, um, we were talking. I was like super interested actually in the mentorship.
Yeah.
I was thinking, but I don't want to just like, oh, let's talk about mentorship. And I don't know, I always feel like it's good to have the introduction and it's good to have like more context about the person. But I agree, like, for example, when I listen to podcasts, the guest episodes or the interviews are usually about one big topic. Let's say in this case, it would be about mentorship.
Yeah,
Sure, they
exactly.
introduce themselves always. You need to have some context about the person, but overall, the whole topic and discussion and conversation is about a specific topic.
Yeah, and it's kind of happened in, like, listening to the episodes and editing it and then thinking, like, "What could I name the episode?" It's kind of happened accidentally
Mhm.
that there's been one topic that's talked about the most in the episode. For example, when we talked to Friends Club, it was very much about finance,
Yeah.
very much about budgets and, like, contracts and stuff. Um, and then talking to, yeah, Sandra, there was a lot of stuff of mentoring. Talking to Maria Lechner from Ladies Wine and Design, it was a lot about community building because that was, like, a big thing for her. It kind of happened accidentally always. Like, also, I don't wanna, like, name every single episode, but no, but, like, thinking back really in every single one, there's been one topic that's kind of been the focus, and I just thought it might be interesting to flip it around and then instead of, like, talking and then there being a certain focus and then kind of, like, honing in on that while the episode is happening, to instead go into the episode with a focus. And then also when we invite someone on, um, like when we do outreach, maybe the outreach is more general, but then once we have someone booked, then we're like, we want to talk about this specific thing, or like these are a couple of topics that would interest us,
Mhm.
and then ask them like which one they would feel like they want to like share most on, or even ask them like, is there something you're working on right now that you would really want to talk about? And then still do the background and the, what would you tell your younger self maybe? Like, I still think that's an interesting I think that's been always, like, the most inspiring part of the episode for me is kind of the end, where we ask everyone, like, what they would have maybe done differently or what kind of advice could they give to somebody starting out. I think that's always been a really good part of the episode. I've just noticed from listening that once a topic is kind of honed in on, that's when the episode starts to get really interesting. And it's usually around the, like, middle mark, and I think it would be cool if it was, like, right at the beginning.
No, I agree. Um, yeah, in that case, I think I think it happens because I mean, when I start writing the questions, I usually do have a focus
Yeah,
on a specific topic where I have more questions about.
yeah.
So that does happen while I do the research, but I'm kind of assuming what could be a good topic, and thank God, or like naturally, it kind of like started being that topic. So it was kind of like a good hunch, but I don't want to always rely on that hunch because what if?
No, I think it would be better to like you said, like, with Cousteau, he always has, like, an overarching theme, like, topic, and then he has someone who comes on who's done something in that topic, and they talk about how they have done that. And then, yeah, I guess that's, like, the other way you can go about it is you have, like, a topic, like, let's say mentoring, like, Sandra is the perfect person to invite on for that. Or you wanna do community, then, Maria is the perfect person for that. So, like, just having the topic defined before the episode happens, and then telling them also that's what we're gonna talk about and focus on, and then that's kind of just, like, the whole vibe of the episode, I think is gonna be different.
No, I agree. Let's try that moving forward.
Yeah.
So you heard it here first. This is like on the go
Yeah, this
brainstorming.
is, like, live brainstorming right now. No, because I was thinking of, like, what's gonna change for the podcast in the future, and I feel like not much because I feel like we're in a flow now for the single, like, solo episodes with the 2 of us and also having guests on. I feel like we've also gotten better at that,
Yeah.
and I don't know what else would change.
I could. I was thinking of one more thing, but this is also like a live brainstorming thing that just was in my on my mind. That I don't know, since we have like a lot of formats going on here. We have solo episodes, then we have like educational episodes, as we have yapping episodes. Like every month, we kind of like revisit the month. This is kind of like something that's been constant now. Then we have guests, then we have educational content. I think these three are like the main things that we have.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe to like have them actually be like, okay, the first episode, I'm just saying something right now, okay? First episode of the month is guest. Second is whatever. Third, we're missing one in between, I know, but final episode is looking back on the month thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we will have always enough content for that. This was just like to keep it structured. Not sure if that's an issue that it's just either sometimes a guest episode, sometimes this, sometimes that.
Yeah.
If
Another way to solve that would to be to do, on Spotify, you can do I don't know if you used to be able to do this or if it's new, but it's something I did notice later, is you can do, like, series.
Ah,
So you have, like it's kinda like a collection. So you'd have, like, the guests collection, then you have, recap collection, and then this, educational collection, going by the 3 categories that you just named.
mhm.
I don't know what a 4th one could be.
Me neither. Let's think about it later.
I mean, if you wanna do 4, because it's 4 weeks in a month,
Yeah, exactly.
typically.
Yeah, I mean, it could be 2 guests and
I feel like we have usually have more lately, we've had more guest episodes than other episodes,
yeah, that's
and
true.
we have kind of been struggling to do the other ones, besides these yapping ones.
Yeah,
Because the educational stuff is stuff I've been doing kind of for YouTube now.
yeah, yeah, it's a bit difficult. I don't know, something to rethink for the future, but I think that overall, like, it's already great formats that we have in there. I think education also comes now with the guest interviews more or less,
Yeah.
and I agree with, like, some overarching topic.
I
It
think if we make them even more focused, then it would
exactly.
become more educational.
Exactly, so we can kind of have, like, 2 things in one, and I really like the idea because then you can go really deep and, like, really ask deeper questions about these things, like, earlier on, so it's not, like, always, like, at the end, "Oh my god, I need to cut you off right now because we're running too
Yeah.
long now." Because I always feel like as soon as it gets really interesting, we kind of have to start cutting the
Yeah, and
episode.
I've noticed also just from watching it back or listening to it back that about at the halfway mark, it starts to get really interesting, and
Yeah,
I enjoy all of it, but I just feel like for the listeners, it might be better if it started off earlier
yeah,
because I don't know how I mean, I would yeah, market research would be the best thing to do, but I just think based off of what other people do, typically in interviews, like you said, it would make more sense to do it that way.
yeah, I agree, so we can move forward and then to an A/B test.
I mean, yeah, but in general, the guest episodes have been performing very well, which is also good.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
Honestly, the best episodes are the ones where there's some kind of drama, though.
I would also listen to the drama, no, let's be
Like
real.
our,
Our
the
breakdown.
crisis ones or
Mm,
the ones about being bullied online, um,
mm.
that got a lot of views
I would
or
also listen to them. I'm like,
listens.
"I got bullied." "Oh, really? I
The
wanna know
click
the tea."
the clickbaity ones and the pricing episodes do the best.
Okay, I know that we are, like, just rambling right now, and, don't know how much value this adds, but we
Okay,
should,
well,
redo
let's
the
structure it. We're talking about statistics right now of the
let's
podcast, okay?
okay, let's stay with statistics. But I feel like now we've, like okay, so they're performing the best, and I'm not surprised.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
not surprising.
okay. One quick nugget I wanted to add, like,
Yeah.
what we've been meaning to do is to up like, re-record and re-upload the pricing episodes,
Yeah.
because they were super in the beginning, and I feel like now they would maybe be more concise.
Yeah, I think they would be more concise and but are you ready to go back and listen to it?
No way.
Okay, I'll go back and listen to it and see what we can what we can reuse
Not
and
the first 10 episodes, I would rather
what we can I'll see what we can reuse and what we can maybe there's stuff that we don't feel the same way about anymore.
that's possible.
That's why I was gonna say you should listen to it again to see if you actually
Look, I agragree with you. I don't disagree that
if
I
there's
have to
anything you
listen
might
too
want
much.
to say like, "Yeah, we said this before, but now I actually feel this way about it." Because it could be an interesting spin to the episode, but if you just wanna re-record it just with our opinions now and whatever, don't care about what happened before, that's also fine.
That's my intrusive thoughts as yes, because
Okay.
I don't wanna listen, but I know that it would add more value if I did. So, I'm not arguing
I
against it.
just
It's
think it
just a
would
me problem.
add more value because for whoever watched that episode, maybe would feel like, "Oh, okay, interesting." Like,
Yeah.
and then it's an interesting perspective. Why did we change our minds about that?
No, of course, I totally agree. I'm telling you, it's not a rational issue, it's irrational.
Okay. I also feel scared about listening to it. I feel like I've always felt okay about talking, but what if I go back and I'm like, "Whoa, I was, like, way too confident."
I guess one more thing, also look in the future how we can involve more of the community and the topics they would like to listen to.
Yeah,
And we would love to hear from you. You can like reach us on Discord or via email. I think the contact data is on the website anyways,
yeah,
on our
it is.
podcast website in case you, I don't know, we have never announced it that we have one.
Well, we do have a podcast, an episode, oh my god, my brain. We have a website for the podcast,
Yeah,
which we created for outreach purposes. So when we send someone an email saying, "Hey, do you wanna be a guest? Here's a podcast," they can look at the link. So we've never really talked about it here because it's not really,
no.
like, meant for the guests, but yeah, if you want, I don't even have it linked anywhere. I can link it in this
Yeah, let's
episode,
start linking it.
and then you can let us know, like,
Yeah.
via email.
Yeah, I would really be curious about the input
Yeah.
and what you maybe what you guys wanna hear.
Also, if you listen to the podcast and you feel like you have something you wanna talk about with us and you wanna be a guest, feel free to contact us.
Yeah, I would love
Like,
to hear
we've
from
been,
you.
doing a lot of outreach to get people on the podcast, but if someone listening feels like they should be on it, then why not?
Yeah, super happy to talk. Mm,
It's not just, we don't only want people, like, necessarily who have built something and they have an agency and they're already, like, 10 years into their career. We're also happy to talk to people who are really at the beginning.
yeah, this should be for everyone. There's
Yeah,
value in any step of the way.
definitely.
Yeah, so I think that's what I wanted to add because I would really love to hear from the people what they would like to hear, what they think. Overall, their feedback really matters. And yeah,
Okay, well, let's leave it at that then.
perfect.
Okay.
Bye.
Imagine you're like, "You suck."
Thank you for listening to this episode of Never Went to Business School. Don't forget to follow us here on Spotify. And if you enjoy our content, check out our YouTube channel for more educational videos and subscribe to our newsletter on Substack.